Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The Suns have become a national punchline. Their owner is the league's favorite piñata, and many national experts believe they were punked and fleeced in their long-awaited trade of Kevin Durant. But tonight, the Suns can change everything from perception to trajectory. They can even win the KD trade if the player they select at number 10 turns out to be really special, as in Devin Booker special or Amari Stoudemire special. The kind of player that is a dominant force long after KD has retired. Now, you can't win the trade tonight, obviously, but in time, acquiring the 10th pick in the draft might be the move that gets the Suns back on a winning track, because it's the only asset the team now possesses in which they can find a potential all-star. Obviously, there's an element of luck involved, and it's really about time we get a break from those basketball gods. We've lost arguably the most important coin flip ever. We've suffered the most heavy-handed punishment from a commissioner in NBA history. We've had great teams blocked by a dynasty in San Antonio, and our first crack at a super team turned into a tire fire burning inside a dumpster located on a landfill. In other words, we're past due for a really good break in Phoenix, the kind that can change everything. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW. Make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Yep, draft day is here. Draft days are here.
Days.
Yeah, days.
Yes,
Again,
D-A-Z-E.
the second round stood up for itself and said, we can't be lumped in with the first round.
Right.
We need our own day.
We want our own day.
And that happens tomorrow. So pay attention if you must, if you will. But tonight, the first round, 30 picks. Suns have two of them right now, number 10, number 29. Just so you don't freak out if you're watching the draft, when the pick comes up at 10,
Yeah.
it's going to be made by the Houston Rockets, and all the photo ops and everything will have player X in a Rockets hat. That player's coming to the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Unless
It's so
it's part of
stupid.
another deal.
Yeah, it's performative nonsense that does alarm and takes away from the proceedings, in my opinion. It's just stupid.
Yes. At number 10, recent history. Not great. You're talking about the Suns maybe catching lightning in a bottle, finding somebody special. It might be happenstance. The recent history of number 10 is not great. Going back to 2018, Mikal Bridges was the 10th pick.
Ooh,
So that's good.
that's a good, yeah,
He
that's a
ended
good
up
count.
with the Suns after Philadelphia drafted him with the 10th pick. The next year, the 10th pick, Cam Reddish out of Duke. He's bounced around the league.
Your eyes don't light up.
There's times where I've watched Cam Reddish play and say, I really like that guy on my team. And then there's other times you're like, wow, he's not very good. The 2020 draft at number 10. The aforementioned Jalen Smith of the Suns went 10th overall. Big man out of Maryland. More on that coming up. 2021, Zaire Williams, the forward from Stanford. Had a very mediocre NBA career to this point. 2022, Johnny Davis of Wisconsin to Washington.
Yikes.
One of the biggest top 10 busts in the last 10
Yeah,
years.
yikes is right.
2023, Cason Wallace, 10th pick of the Dallas Mavericks, ended up with Oklahoma City, contributed greatly to their first NBA title. You'd take a player like that. Wouldn't call him a star necessarily at this point. And then last year, the 10th pick, the local kid, Cody Williams, went to Utah, and he had a very, very, very rough first season in the NBA. So, again, that's just the historical background of it. This draft class is different than others. We went over some of the options. I'm pretty excited if Colin Murray Boyles from South Carolina is on the board at 10.
If it's him and Derek Queen, if both are available, who are you taking? It's a good question. Derek Queen he's got more size, but there's questions about his fitness. Obviously, you look at him.
I've been team Derek Queen just because I think, and it depends on what you want as a Suns fan. If you want a kind of more solidified, less ceiling guy, I think Colin Murray Boyles is your guy. But if you kind of want to take like a bigger swing, I think Derek Queen has the real potential to be an all-star.
I would agree with that.
And his offensive ability is unquestioned. I think he's very skilled. If you watch him, he's real crafty like a Şengün, and he shoots a high percentage from the free throw line, which then can translate to being a good shooter in the NBA. So that's where I would lean, but it just depends on what cup of tea you like, I guess.
Kevin Sweeney, who covers the draft for SI, was on with Wolf and Luke yesterday. He shared what his concerns are about Derek Queen at the next level.
Yeah, I think there's a maturity thing with him. Like, I truly think Derek Queen wants to be a really good basketball player. Like, I do think he's driven. His development when he was playing at Montverde with Cooper Flagg and Liam McNeely in like a hyper-competitive environment was really, really good. And he made some real strides there. But, as I think David Aldrich from The Athletic wrote out in one of his, and scouting notebooks where he gets all these anonymous quotes from scouts. Someone said Derek Queen's 19 going on 14. Like, he is just a kid. And when you talk to him, you get that vibe. And so I do think that's a risk for Phoenix as they try to, obviously are still in a win now mode in a sense. And you want to push the chips in with the veterans that they do have. Do you want someone that needs some counseling along the way? But I do think he's a hard worker. I just think at times, he surrenders to maybe the boyish instincts.
Yeah, and again, going back to the Jalen Smith pick, and we've had a little bit of fun with this the last 2 days. Big men out of Maryland who wore number 25 in college. Derek Queen has the possibility of being the third guy to meet that criteria for a Suns draft pick.
That's really, really unbelievable.
I don't know if there's any way to do that research at all. I would be willing to guess that if Derek Queen is the pick, that's never happened before in the history of the NBA.
That's almost as wild as 3 players blowing out their Achilles all wearing number 0 in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, 3 star players.
Yeah, things you just cannot explain. Colin Murray Boyles, what I like about him, and I've said this repeatedly, from watching the highlights, and I'm not trying to act like an expert here, but he plays with a ferocity. He plays with anger, and that's what you need. The descriptions of Derek Queen as immature, that scares the heck out of me because I think of DeAndre Ayton, and I think about how you learn very quickly that the NBA is a men's league. You got to grow up fast to hang in this league.
Yeah, but to be immature is almost expected at this point when you look at the ages of these kids.
Yeah, I guess
Jeremiah
you're right.
Fears is 18 years old. He's going to get drafted tonight. Cooper Flagg is 18 years old. He's going number 1 overall. Carter Bryant's 19.
Yeah,
Derek Queen will be 21 this NBA season, so he's not like one of those 18-year-olds.
Yes, but a year of college.
Right.
And in a lot of cases, chronologically, your number age doesn't match your maturity age.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is a concern, yeah, that might be a red flag. Probably is a red flag for a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
I had a quick question on the way out. So this Noah Isengay guy, he plays over in Germany. He got invited to the draft, the green room, and his current team is in the finals of that league. He's decided to leave his team and go to the draft room. And there have been some rumors that he could be there at 10. The Suns might draft him. I've seen him on a couple. What do you think of that? He's leaving his team, championship series, to go to the draft room.
I would take him off my board. You know what that means, though? With the 10th pick,
Yep.
the Phoenix Suns select Noah Isengay.
Well, France is on a good run of producing high-end talent, right?
Yeah, he's French. He's playing in a German league, but
right.
yeah,
but he's from France. That is quite something.
And so his teammate Ben Sarif or Sarif is also projected to be a first-round pick. He didn't get invited, unfortunately, but it's really interesting because he decided to he's like, it's game 4 tonight.
I would have if I was a decision maker in the NBA, I would have a very, very hard time knowing that, handing a card in with that name on.
I'm mixed. A part of me sees what you're saying because it does kind of.
Look, we have this discussion in the NFL draft. We had the discussion a couple months ago with Cam Ward. Oh, he got his record and he tapped out of his bowl game. And it's a bowl game. Nobody cares. It doesn't mean anything. And he got criticism.
That's true.
This is a team playing for a championship and you leave in the middle of the series?
That's unbelievable.
That's not good.
What are they scheduling a series for coinciding with the NBA draft?
It's almost
It's
like
a German league. They don't care.
They don't care.
They got their own stuff to do.
Yeah, right.
They didn't expect him to leave. Man, that's a good nugget.
Listen, I want the Suns to get themselves a quality big at 10, and then I want them to get Walter Clayton Jr. or Ryan Nembhard at 29, and I'm happy.
I'd sign up for that.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.